You hear it all the time, right? Artificial intelligence is here to help us. But what if that help comes with a hidden price tag? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the dark side of AI, the complicated and, yeah, sometimes dangerous stuff that's hiding just under the surface.
And I mean, it's true. We see it everywhere. AI is recommending your next binge watch, it's helping you dodge traffic jams, it's even assisting doctors in hospitals. So on the surface, it looks like this amazing, helpful tool that just fits right into our lives.
But is that really the whole story? What's the real cost of all this amazing convenience? What's actually happening behind that friendly little app on your phone? That is exactly what we are here to dig into.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with AI's helpful image. Then we'll uncover the hidden cost of our data, see how algorithms can actually discriminate, look at the huge impact of control and automation, get into the wild stuff with the war on reality, and then we'll wrap up with the most important part of all, the human element.
Okay, so we've all seen the helpful, shiny side of AI, the big promise that's always in the headlines. Now, let's start peeling back those layers and see what's really going on, starting with the actual cost of all these free services.
And that brings us right to the hidden data cost. You have to understand, for a lot of these AI systems, your personal information isn't just some side effect. It's the literal fuel that makes the engine run.
For an AI to be smart, it has to learn. And how does it learn? By processing absolutely massive, staggering amounts of information. And a lot of the time, that's our personal information. This isn't a minor detail. For a lot of platforms we use every single day, it's their entire business model.
And just think about how personal this stuff is. We're not talking about anonymous numbers here. We're talking about every website you visit, your exact location from your phone, even recordings of your voice from your smart speaker. It's a full-on profile of your digital life.
And here's where it gets really risky. When you gather all of that deeply personal information in one place, it becomes a giant blinking target. So whether it's misused by the company that collected it, or it gets exposed because of a security breach, the damage to our privacy can be, well, pretty severe.
But the risks aren't just about data breaches. This leads us to something a bit more subtle, but just as dangerous: the problem of built-in bias. This is where unfairness gets literally coded into AI systems, and the real-world consequences can be devastating.
So how does this even happen? Well, the logic is actually pretty simple. An AI isn't born smart. It learns from all the data we give it. It studies historical documents, text, images, all things created by us humans, with all of our built-in flaws and societal biases.
And you can probably guess what happens next. If the data we feed it is full of historical unfairness, like, say, decades of biased hiring practices, the AI just learns that bias as a normal pattern. It doesn't see it as wrong, it just sees it as the correct way to make a decision.
And hey, this isn't some sci-fi theory. This is happening right now. We've seen AI hiring tools that automatically prefer men over women, loan algorithms that deny people based on their zip code, and facial recognition that's way less accurate for people of color. The impact is absolutely real.
So you have these problems with data, with bias, and all of that builds into our next big topic, control and automation. This is where we see how AI is changing our whole society on a massive scale, from public surveillance to the future of jobs.
Look, there's a real balancing act here. On the one hand, yeah, AI-powered surveillance can definitely help improve security and catch criminals. But on the other hand, it opens up some really serious questions about our personal freedom, our privacy, and what happens if that power gets misused.
And then there's the economic fallout. The process is pretty straightforward, right? A job that a person used to do gets automated by an AI. The big worry isn't just about that one person's job, but what happens when this starts happening everywhere, at scale. If we don't have a plan, it could create some serious economic imbalance and completely reshape our workforce.
This brings us to what might be the most unsettling topic of all, the war on reality. This is all about how AI can be weaponized to create and spread misinformation on a scale that we have just never seen before. The key technology you need to know about here is the deepfake. Using AI, people can now create incredibly realistic but totally fake videos or audio clips. I mean, just imagine seeing a world leader convincingly saying something they never actually said. The potential to manipulate people is just huge.
And this is the real damage. It's not just about getting tricked by one fake video. The bigger problem is that it makes it harder for people to trust what they see or hear online. It just wears away at our collective trust and completely blurs the line between what's real and what's fake.
So, after going through all these challenges, it can feel a little grim, right? So, where do we go from here? Well, that brings us to our final and, honestly, our most important section, the human element, and finding a path forward.
And this is the single most important thing to remember. AI itself isn't good or evil. It's a tool. Think of it like a hammer. You can use it to build a house, or you can use it to break a window. The morality isn't in the hammer, it's in the hands of the person using it.
So what this means is, we can't just invent this powerful new technology, unleash it on the world, and just hope for the best. Without a plan, without some serious guardrails, the potential for harm is massive. We have to be proactive about this.
And what do those guardrails look like? Well, here are the absolute essentials. We need clear, ethical rules for how AI gets built. We need transparency, so we can actually understand how these things are making decisions. And maybe most importantly, we need real human oversight, a human in the loop who has the final say.
And that's really the whole point of this explainer. You can't fix a problem if you don't even know it exists. By being aware of all the risks, the data costs, the bias, the potential for misuse, we're taking the first, most critical step toward building a better and safer future with AI.
Because in the end, the future of AI isn't really about code and algorithms. It's about us. It's about the values we decide to build into these systems and the rules we create to manage them. The tech is here, and it's not going anywhere. So the final question is really for all of us. What choices are we going to make?